Donald Trump likes to talk a good game about making other countries pay their bills.
We're going to make them pay for that wall.
NATO countries have to pay up.
He's also obsessed with what he thinks the United States owes other nations on trade.
We have almost an $800 billion a year trade deficit with other nations. Unacceptable.
So if he's that concerned about U.S. economic independence, it's a little strange that he's pushing tax cuts that will put us in debt to the rest of the world by trillions of dollars. Republicans in Congress are pushing for a permanent extension of Trump's tax cuts from his first term in 2017. They'll cost at least $4.6 trillion over 10 years, and because we currently don't have the money to pay for it, they'll have to be financed by other countries, like China. The U.S. government spends a lot more money than it collects. In 2024, for example, according to the Congressional Budget Office, federal spending totaled about $6.8 trillion, but it only collected about $4.9 trillion in revenues, like from taxes, which meant a deficit of $1.9 trillion just in 2024. These deficits have been piling up year after year, and the cumulative burden is our national debt. As of September 2024, our national debt was nearly $35.5 trillion. As of March 1, it was already over $36 trillion. Donald Trump, moreover, added $8.4 trillion to the debt during his first term, compared to $4.3 trillion for President Joe Biden. The U.S. government covers this debt by borrowing money. A little more than half is held by U.S. investors buying treasuries. This could mean your pension or your 401k. But about a fourth is held by foreign investors like China. In fact, Japan, China, and the United Kingdom are America's biggest creditors. As of the end of 2024, we owe Japan more than $1 trillion, China $759 billion, and the United Kingdom $723 billion. We even owe Canada and Mexico. What's more, the federal government pays interest on this debt in the same way that you and I pay interest on our credit cards. And the amount of that interest is staggering. In fiscal 2024 alone, for example, the interest on our debt was $881 billion. That's more than what we spent on the military, more than what we spent on Medicaid. In fact, the entire budget for the Department of Education was only $79 billion in 2024. USAID has spent only $41 billion in fiscal 2024, despite what Elon Musk and his Doge bros claim about wasteful foreign aid. And just like how paying interest on your credit cards means less money for the things you really want, paying interest on a national debt crowds out other priorities. So instead of building new roads and bridges, fixing our schools, investing in small businesses or new medicines, we're paying interest on the debt to our creditors. And now Trump wants to put us even more in debt to creditors to pay for tax cuts. And guess who those tax cuts are mostly going to benefit? That's right, these guys. According to the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, someone in the top 0.1% will get an average tax cut of more than $330,000 in 2025, compared to just $265 for someone in the bottom quarter of households. And no, tariffs are not going to pay for any of this. One of Trump's more outlandish ideas is to abolish the IRS and replace it with a Department of External Taxation. If you think that sounds gimmicky and weird, that's because it is. Number one, Congress needs to create this agency, not Donald Trump. That's called separation of powers under the U.S. Constitution. Number two, there already is an agency to collect tariffs. That's U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Number three, it's not going to be other countries paying these tariffs. It's going to be you, the American consumer. And number four, even with the increased tariffs Trump is calling for, the revenues raised will be far from enough to pay our bills. According to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, these tariffs would raise just $110 billion in fiscal 2025 compared to the $7 trillion the government is expected to spend. The truth about Trump's tax cuts is that he is mortgaging the U.S. economy to benefit the likes of this guy. Elon Musk already owns the federal government. Don't let him own our future too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.